Welcome to the Build Your Life Coaching Biz podcast, where you get to learn how to become a professional life coach and start an online coaching business from scratch. I'm your host, Krista Kathleen, a professional certified coach and business mentor. In 2016, I got divorced and left my full-time job as a registered nurse and decided to bravely answer my calling of becoming a life coach so I could help to change lives as I traveled around the world. And now I want to help you discover your purpose too. Having the freedom and flexibility to be your own boss and make as much money as you want right from your laptop will be one of the best gifts you ever give to yourself, your family, and the world. In these episodes, I'll give you real coaching combined with proven strategies and spiritual practices in order to help you build your dream coaching business that feels perfect for you.
Hi, Krista.
Hi, Rochelle. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so excited you're here and that it was so much easier this time to get the podcast up and running.
Yeah, sure.
Yay, success. Okay, so for everyone listening to this, Rochelle was our scholarship winner for the Born to Coach Training Academy Fall 2022 class. And as a part of winning that scholarship, she's agreed to every month doing an interview with me for the podcast as a way to talk about and share her behind the scenes experience with going through the Born to Coach Training Academy to become a professional coach and coach at that PCC level. So last month we did the introduction episode, and now a month of coach training's already come and gone so fast. So we're going to be talking a little bit today about what that first month experience has been like for you, Rochelle. Are you ready to dive in?
Ready to dive in?
All right, beautiful. So I would love to hear from you. What's been the most exciting part of coach training for you so far?
So the most exciting part has been honestly learning and picking up on new things as I go along, like things that I just totally missed before in any studies that I did. So I've learned already within a month how to coach better, which is not only exciting, but it gives me an additional bo- boost of confidence
Mhm.
in going forward and, creating my business.
Oh, I love that. So, can you give an example when you say you feel like you've learned how to coach better? What does that look like for you right now?
So, it's a good question. What it looks like is honestly, I've always had this like communication thing where I always felt like I couldn't communicate. And with coaching, I've always come to the point where it's like, what do I say? What do I do? How does this
Mhm.
get done? But so far, since we've been since we've been going through things in the in your class, it has shown me different ways to either answer something or structure the session better or even understand more fully of how to get to the outcome. Like that, getting to the outcome was one of my biggest realizations in the class this month because before that, like I wasn't really honed into it. And then there was this moment where I had this like aha moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I've done all this reading and all these other things so far for now over the past year. And it was like, oh, well, that makes sense. And then the books that you recommended also help me hone in and craft like things that I should be saying, either questions or the type of person that I might be coaching, the type of situation that I might be coaching. What am I looking at? And I've been able to revamp notes that I already had on how I think a coaching session or conversation should even go.
Oh. That's amazing. I definitely hear the confidence in your voice as you're
Mhm.
speaking. And yeah, I personally think that's one of the best feelings ever as a coach is to feel like you finally know what you're doing and like knowing how to structure the session and like you said, um, co-creating the outcome with the client for the session. And it's just not a fun place to run your coaching business when you're like, I'm trying to sell and promote my coaching, but I don't really know what I'm doing. And I don't really know how to coach people. And I don't know how to get people life-changing results. And so that's why, right, the first 3.5 months of the Born to Coach Training Academy, we just focus on helping you to get that structure set up with the coaching so you do feel confident and you do trust your coaching process. You know how to guide the client, you know the right questions, best questions to ask to help them to move forward with their goals. So I'm really glad that you feel like you're getting all of that so far just in the first month.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so glad.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so then what has been, and feel free to be totally honest here. And this is all about just vulnerability, transparency, and um, I'm so open to whatever you say. And this is going to be good feedback for me too. But what's been the most challenging part of coach training for you so far?
Hmm. So the most challenging part, I think, for me is now one trying to like really, really understand the ICF markers, quite honestly, because it's like very textbook, and trying to understand coaching from what they're saying and trying to remember it. And maybe I'm just too studious and I'm trying to like break apart too much, but I'm trying to like structure everything to where I remember each and every guideline and
Mhm.
function that way. And then the other thing that came up for me in coach training, and I'm getting better at it, but like the triggers that can happen that make you start going somewhere in yourself and having to bring yourself out when the topic is somewhat related to things that I might be going through right now or have even went through in the past and thought that it was all done and over with, and maintaining that presence and not getting scared to maintain your presence because like that trigger happened.
Oh, that's so good. I'm actually glad that you brought that up. And, if you remember when we went through on the first class and we were going through like kind of the overall expectations for the program, and that is one of the things we cover is that a lot of triggers or, activations will come up as you go through this process. And that's just true in life in general. And whether you train to become a coach or you become a parent or anything else, like we're going to get triggered. um but at the same time, right, in coach training we teach you how to have a different relationship with those triggers and how to ask for support around them and how to lean into them as well so they don't distract and take away from your coaching presence. um
Mhm.
so I really love that you're bringing this topic up. Are you open to like sharing a specific example of like a recent trigger that you've had?
Oh yeah, for sure. So, and then I'll add another thing that actually really helped with the Born to Coach Training Academy after, but it was about parenting, and it was like when you become a mom, what you expect, and I had all these expectations before I became a mom, and that all changed so much, and it kind of like made me think like, why did I even think that it would be like so easy, because some kids are so, I thought I would have like a quiet kid because like I'm a quiet person. And then you have these situations where they like go out of control and it's like I don't want to turn into this person that I'm not. And it started triggering me even though like I've kind of I haven't fixed the problem. I wouldn't say that because with every new age there's something else. But I did have a big realization when my daughter was like around 2 to 3 of how I was being and how I was affecting her. And I've changed it since then, and it's been better. And it was still like this trigger, like buzzing in there, like buzzing in my heart, like how it was for me at that time, or how it is sometimes now. But she's older, so she's off doing her own thing. But yeah, I had to sit with that. And I wasn't the coach in that moment, but I was like, what if I was the coach in that moment? Like, now, how do I get myself out of here? And we spoke about like ways we do it. And I always said I have this little mental box where I put things into. But that one was kind of hard to put there because it's like I'm in the midst of kind of being in it, and it's just still there. It's just one of the things that are still there. And I said, okay, well, I have to work on that because it's clearly still there. And speaking on going back to what you were saying, like some of the negative, not negative things, but challenging things, has been like working with these feelings. So fear came up for me again, and it came up this morning. And I'm like so thankful that we have these exercises where we calm ourselves down. So because I've become more confident, like I'm working on now a program that for getting myself out there, and with hubby Allen too, getting out there. And I had this crazy fear when I woke up this morning, like, oh my gosh, what if this doesn't go the way I want it to go? And then I started doing like a moderation of the tapping exercise that we did, and then you can feel it all settle. This was literally only a few hours
Mhm.
ago when I was waking up, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going down. Like, it kind of felt suffocating. And I was like, I'm so glad I learned that last night, because that really helped me lean into it. And then I started giving myself those positive affirmations that, like, it's going to be okay. And I want to help people and I want to do this. And I was just like, well, look at that. Like, you walked yourself through that with
Mhm.
this new technique that we learned in class. So I was so glad to get to use
Oh,
it.
I'm so glad that you're using the techniques, yeah, that I'm teaching you, and that you're using that in your personal life as well. I have a couple of things to say about what you just brought up, Rochelle. So first of all, the full moon was on Tuesday night. So last night with a lunar eclipse the previous night. So like there's just a lot of chaotic energy and anxiety like going around collectively right now. So I felt it when I woke up this morning. I felt it too. And I actually did some tapping as well. And it really helped. But just for everyone listening, to let you all know what Rochelle's kind of talking about. So a big part of becoming a coach isn't just learning about the ICF core competencies and learning about how to structure coaching sessions and ask great coaching questions. A big part of becoming a coach is also the mindset and the energy that you bring to the table as well. And so I want my students to really be like mentally and energetically prepared for when they work with their clients. And then especially like when we do practice coaching on the Saturday Coaching Skills Lab. And so I go through different like different types of exercises with them before we start class. Like last night we did a tapping exercise. A lot of times we'll do breathing meditations. Last week, I did an NLP anchoring exercise with the class. So that way, it's like really helping you to, transform as a coach. And then, like you said, you can use these in your off time as well to help you in your personal life. So I'm really glad that you like those, Rochelle, and that those are happening those are helping you. Also, too, going back to what you said about the trigger with parenting, were you referring to when Melissa was coaching me last week in the skills lab around my issues of like just parenting Lincoln right now? And were you kind of like wondering how would you coach someone who's having like the same issues that you're having?
Yeah, so it was the exact one. But
Okay.
I wasn't afraid of coaching anyone. It was like what it brought up, because I've realized something in those times when Soraya was between that age, like 2 to 3. I had a big realization and change since then. But it was like, wow, the trigger is still there. Like, is there something else there that I now need to look into? But I feel like I can coach the person, but I was like, there's something that just needs to be worked on. So I'm like more ready when it comes up again.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm glad that you notice and you're acknowledging the trigger for you. And then, like, what do you want to do next with this trigger?
I guess I'll have to refocus my attention on how to deal with, you know, she kids, I guess now, because now she's not a toddler. So like it's different things, I guess, that are going on. So maybe the trigger's really there because it's kid things that are getting to me now. And now there's a new solution I'll have to find to not break character. Because I definitely do still break character, just not as much as I used to break it before because she's taught me so much. So it's
Yeah.
like, what do I do now in this kid phase
Yeah.
when they go off?
Mm, yes. Oh my gosh. The struggle is real. Being
Oh my
a
God.
full-time working mom and parenting your child and running a coaching business. And so just to let everyone know, what Rochelle and I are talking about here is in our Saturday coaching skills lab last Saturday. We always have a role playing coach, we have a role playing client, and we give the coach 10 minutes to practice coaching a client in front of the Zoom classroom. And everyone turns their cameras off. And then after the 10 minutes, we come back and we do some positive, constructive feedback. And so, Melissa, who's another student in the class, she was coaching and everyone had already volunteered. So I was like, I'll be the volunteer because I always love to get free coaching whenever possible. And I was asking for support around the fact that I get so triggered around my 2.5-year-old son Lincoln right now. And then Melissa did such a good job at coaching me through it. And then at the end, when we did the feedback, and I was asking her, like, what was that experience like for you, Melissa, as the coach? And she was like, that was so incredibly hard. And that was shocking for me because I thought she did a fabulous job. Rochelle, did
Oh
you
yeah,
did
I
you think she
did.
did amazing?
Yeah, I did. I was like, she kind of knows this parenting thing.
Yeah, she was just so like calm. Her energy was neutral. She asked really, really great questions to help me like just think about the situation in a new way. And then so I was shocked when she was like, that was so hard. And I was like, well, what made it hard for you? And she's like, well, I also have a 2.5-year-old right now. And I am struggling with also not losing my shit around my toddler. So when you asked for help around it, I kind of like panicked for a moment. And so I think that is something that is really typical for coaches to go through is that our clients will bring us issues and topics. And if we have things unresolved in our life around similar types of situations, or unprocessed wounds and triggers and everything, it can be really difficult to stay present and coach someone through it. So kind of what Rochelle was referring to earlier. But at the same time, it is possible, and I like the example that you gave in class, Rochelle, is like you said, when you're coaching someone and they bring a topic that you're like, oh, that's like bringing up some new emotions for me, and you like put those emotions in a box for a little bit so that way you can still focus on the client. And then after the session, it sounds like you open up the box and then say, okay, what are we going to do with these new raw emotions that came up from the session? Is that,
Mhm.
did I
Yep.
did I get that clearly?
Yes, you so
Okay.
nailed it.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I'm glad that we're talking about this. And I think a lot of people that are going to listen to this episode can also benefit from knowing like it is okay that when you're coaching someone that you're going to get triggered, and there you can have a strategy on how to still stay present for the client when that comes up. And then just knowing like, are you going to go to your coach afterwards, or are you going to go to your therapist? Are you going to do some journaling around it? Or you don't want to keep it in a box, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do something with the feelings so that way they don't keep showing up for you and that they don't get in the way of you being able to coach your clients effectively.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Okay. Love this conversation that we're having. Couple more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let me find a good one. What do you think? So, we give you a lot of different resources in the Born to Coach Training Academy to help you to be a really effective and confident coach. So, what do you think has been the most helpful resource in the program so far that's going to help you the most with coaching?
So far, some of the books have been. So once you mentioned them, I had a few of them, and then I went back and reread them. And because now I'm rereading them and we coach so much, I'm able to actually like apply what I'm learning, what I'm relearning, because like I've read some of them before and it's just not the same now because I'm actually applying them to actual sessions. So that has been super helpful. And then the one link with I don't remember what the link was, but you played a video where I had that aha moment and I was like that they broke down the session into like segments for to learn from. That was another very helpful resource. And then the students themselves, because we come up with so many different things that we're going through and like why we asked the question we did or just like life events, that it's been a lot of learning through them because we have so many different personalities to learn from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I don't even know what you're talking about. What's the link that I shared with the video?
Oh, it was I think it was a Chad Hall video. Um Coaching Ministries, I want to say. I do remember Ministries in the link somewhere. And it was a video where the lady broke down I'm pretty sure it was Chad
Oh,
Hall.
yes, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so just to let all our listeners in on what you're talking, I was like, what did I'm so glad it helped you, but I do not remember sharing that. Okay. So, built into the Born to Coach Training Academy, we have 10 ICF mentoring hours. And we do 7 in a group. So every month, the last Tuesday of the month, we get together in a group and we listen to a recorded coaching session together that's passed at the PCC level. And we really break it down and unpack it together as the group. So we listen to like 5-minute segments, and then we come back together on the Zoom room, and then we talk about like, okay, what's standing out to you and what you just heard the coach sharing. What do you like? What do you not like? Where did you hear this ICF core competency being used? So we already had our ICF mentor clinic, the first one last month, and I really love those sessions as well, Rochelle, because it's like taking everything that we're learning each week and it's like really applying it in real time, right?
Yeah.
Like every week you're learning a new core competency and you're learning new coaching skills, and then you get to actually see it happening in action and be like, oh, that's what it would really look or sound like when you're coaching a real client.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then for semester 2, you get 3 private ICF mentoring clinic sessions with me. And that's where you're going to bring one of your own recorded coaching sessions from that you do with your peer coach. And then we'll do the same thing, but we'll do it just together, you and me, where we'll listen to your coaching call, and every 5 minutes we'll come in and like just give some thoughts and feedback on how to keep improving as a coach. But yeah, cool. I'm glad that you're enjoying those sessions. Okay, I have 2 questions left for you, Rochelle. Is if you could change, this one's not really about the Born to Coach Training Academy, it's just coaching in general. But if you could change one thing about the coaching industry right now, what would it be?
Hmm. That's an interesting question. I don't know if I know enough about the coaching industry to know what I would change. Hmm. That's a good one. I don't know what I would change about the coaching industry. I mean, honestly, what have we've been talking about lately about how, we all went through to get further education because we felt we wanted to help people better, which has had me reflecting on some things that I have seen and just coming like I already knew education for me personally was important, but I said, if there are too many out there who may not know what's going on or, you know, just getting it more, I guess, standardized so that it's just not anyone out there. So we're helping everyone the right way. So that's the one thing that's been really sitting with me. But I really have to know a whole lot more about the coaching industry,
Totally.
a little bit more.
Well, I think that makes so much sense because you're a nurse educator. And so,
Hmm.
like you said, education is extremely important for you. If it wasn't, you wouldn't have gone into your master's role of being a nurse educator. So yeah, I guess maybe the better question is to, and you kind of answered it, but I'll just ask in a different way, is like, yeah, what's your thoughts about education not being mandatory in the coaching industry?
Ah, that's a good one. It's like as I go forward, I feel like it should be because just like I said, those things I've seen on different groups and so on of what people would do or what is really a disservice. And it's like we all come through and make some mistakes here and there, but how helpful it would have been if, like, that was either avoided or minimized because you had some sort of education in it. So I would
Mhm.
think that honestly, it really should be more mandatory so that you can go out and just be of an effective service, right? Because I wouldn't want
Mhm.
to be coached by someone and they did the bare minimum. And they were here, like, just like my reason for joining, part of my reason for joining the Born to Coach Training Academy was like with all the resources I had before, after a while, I realized, like, this is still not really enough. I'm not even gonna say not really enough. This is not enough. I need something else that's gonna get me to where I want to be as a
Mhm.
coach.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, it should really start to go along the lines of being mandatory, just like most professions are.
I know that's the crazy part to me, Rochelle. Like, could you imagine deciding that you wanted to be a nurse and then never going through formal education before like you would start professionally,
Oh
like
my gosh.
nurse? I don't know if
Yeah.
nursing someone, I don't think that's a term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Professionally taking care of some, like, I mean, that would be scary, right?
Oh yeah, and we've had it. We've had, we found people who've done it, who've faked degrees and look at the outcomes.
Yeah.
It's just proof.
Yeah. So, like, and I do see the coaching industry changing in this way. And honestly, I do think it's not going to be too long where there's going to be some form of education that is required and
Yeah.
regulated for coaches, which is, and honestly, it's not like a punishment. Like, it really is to just make things safer for everyone. And so that way, when people know that they're hiring a coach, that they know they're in good hands and they know the coach has had training and they know that the coach knows what they're doing. And um, so yeah, I'm along the lines with you. I mean, obviously it's why I created the program. I'm such a believer in education. And I even saw in my own practice when I was coaching before I went through coach training, and then how differently my coaching was after I went through coach training.
Mhm.
Um, Makes a huge difference on how you help your clients and the types of results your clients get, and your confidence levels and all of that. So I'm like you. I'm really in favor of hopefully one day this becoming mandatory. That may be an unpopular opinion right now with a lot of coaches, but I just think it's gonna benefit the coaching industry and anybody who hires coaches moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for you is, what are you most looking forward to for month 2 of coach training?
Oh, the business side of it. I kind of already cheated on that, but because I'm always looking forward. But I am really looking to finally just have up this successful, um, and not success. Well, I shouldn't. Yes, the term successful, but like I'm ready to grow so much farther past where I am and just getting more guidance and kind of just like honing it in. You know, you start off a business, you feel like super scattered and everything is everywhere, but like honing it in. And I've started recreating my living room slash office space
Ooh.
to like everything. Yeah, I've already been like putting it together and I was like, let's like push in the pieces on that Jenga tower and make it nice and neat again instead of having like the little blocks out all over the place, but like let's like smooth it out. And that's what I'm looking forward to, just something to like a smooth process, a smooth flow of
Mhm.
where it's up, it's functioning, it's running. I have it more organized and organized in my computer and it's seamless and I'm just like boom out
Mhm.
there.
Mm. Oh, that does sound amazing. And I just hear the excitement and passion in your voice as you're talking about getting that like just smooth and seamless process set up for yourself.
You know, I'm so ready.
Ah, well, I'm so happy for you, Rochelle. And yeah, I can't. Well, actually, we've technically already dived into month 2 because it's November 9th when we're filming this. But yeah, it's going to be a great second month. And then thank you so much for everyone who is listening and following along on Rochelle's journey. And then we'll do another interview next month to see how month 2 went for Rochelle. So thank you
Oh
again,
my
Rochelle.
gosh. I just
Yeah.
realized something. You said month two, not semester two.
Oh,
That's why I jumped into business. Oh no. Month two, I'm really looking forward to more learning, just more learning and more effective coaching.
I love it. Well, yeah. So semester 1 is we focus on becoming a transformational coach, and semester 2 we focus on setting up the business. But doesn't mean that you can't start setting up the coaching business right now. And we provide so much support in the membership, which you get included in the academy. And you can just start setting up the business right now and getting that going so you are ready to hit the road, hit the ground running for semester 2.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, you have a great rest of your day, Rochelle, in beautiful sunny Florida. And I will see you in class later this week.
Yes, I'll see you there.
Okay. Bye,
Okay.
everyone.
Bye everyone.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast. I'm so grateful that our lives have crossed paths today. And if you would like to win a free month inside our Find Your First Paying Client membership, then leave us a 5-star review and email the screenshot at hi@buildyourlifecoachingbiz.com. Or you can just head over to my website at buildyourlifecoachingbiz.com/membership, where you can join right now. Hi, everyone. I am currently in Palm Springs, California, which is literally an oasis in the desert. And I am getting ready to attend my first peyote sacred medicine plant ceremony this weekend. I intended to record this last night, hence why I'm going to call it the night before my peyote ceremony, but technically it's the day of. I was just so tired last week after getting up at 4 a.m. yesterday to leave for the airport, and traveling can just be so taxing and exhausting on your body. And it really makes me curious how I traveled nonstop for 2 years. After I lost my job and turned 30, and you can read all about in my book, Beyond the White Picket Fence, I was a digital nomad for 2 years and lived out of a little suitcase and like every month I was moving to a new city and a new country, and it was thrilling and exciting and like something I will literally remember for the rest of my life. And there's times where I want to get back to that lifestyle so bad, but I feel like my body must have just have chronically been tired during that time. Or maybe because I was a little younger, maybe it was easier to do, and having a kid now takes away a lot of your energy. But yeah, traveling is amazing and therapeutic and healing, and also a lot of yang energy as well. Hence why before the ceremony starts tomorrow or tonight at 6 p.m., I'm going to be going to a spa today. So I'm really excited. I'm treating myself. This is going to be an early birthday gift. I turn 37 on January 16th. And every year I try to go somewhere new for my birthday, or like just give myself a really nice birthday gift. So this trip, this ceremony is my birthday gift, including I'm going to go to this really nice spa, the Azure Spa. And who knows, maybe I'll see some celebrities here. A lot of celebrities travel from LA to vacation in Palm Springs. And they have hot mineral baths here. So there is, hence why it's called Palm Springs, like there's natural springs here. And so a couple of these hotels, what they've done is they use the water, they use the hot water from the ground that has all these like healing and medicinal benefits. And then they cool down the water a little bit. So obviously you can get in and soak in it. And then they like built a resort and spa around it. And that is like when I'm traveling, anytime I hear of hot springs, I'm like, I'm there. I don't care where or when or how, I'm there. I think it's my Cancer rising. Some of you know this because I record some of my podcast episodes in the bath every night, but I have to be in hot water every single night or at some point throughout the day. And if I don't, occasionally every once in a while I'll take a shower, but like I need to be soaking in relaxing hot water. And if I don't, like my soul does not feel cleansed and I can't relax and like I don't feel right in my body. It's so weird. I'm curious if there's anybody else out there like this, but like it's like my medicine for some reason. And I do know with the Cancer, it's a water sign, and usually Cancers need to be in or around water. It's very healing for us. So that's why I'm going there today, to just relax and get prepared for this ceremony that I'm going to do tonight. And as I'm starting to talk about it, I'm just feeling all the feels right now. So peyote comes from a small cactus that is grown in parts of the United States and Central America and Mexico. And it's used in the Native American community in spiritual ceremonies. It's been used for hundreds to thousands of years. And it does have psychedelic properties. And there's so many different reasons why people use it. You know, obviously to have a spiritual awakening, or to heal mental health issues, or to work through addictions, or to heal like physical ailments in their body, or to just like get over certain fears, or to be able to communicate with your spirit guides. Like there's so many different reasons why people are attracted to plant medicine. And the first time I did a plant medicine ceremony was when I was in South Africa. Maybe, what has it been, like 2.5 years now? It was right before Lincoln was conceived. And I did a mushroom ceremony with a guide. And it was such a beautiful experience. And it took me a couple of years after doing that to really process all the things that came through for me. And hence now I'm just now doing another plant medicine ceremony, like 2.5 years later. Like I really needed that much time to just digest everything that came up. It was a very wonderful but intense experience. Got so much more clarity and confirmation on my purpose in life. One of my favorite images, there was two things. I think there was a lot that happened, but I could only remember so much. The two things I liked the most was I was like this big, tall statue in an African safari, and in this vision that I had, and then all these people, these little people, they're like ant-like size, and they were gathering at my feet, and they were coming from all over the world, and they were looking up at me, and they wanted me to teach them, and they wanted to learn from me. And my spirit guides were saying, it's making me emotional right now. They said, you're going to have people come from all over the world to learn from you, Krista, and you're going to teach them. And I already know what that means. And I know I'm already on the path to doing it with, having my Born to Coach Training Academy. And it's literally happening as we speak. I have coaches from all over the world who sign up to be in this program because they want to learn from me of how to be a coach, how to be a business owner, how to, become like a whole new spiritual person, have a spiritual way of living. So it was just so cool to just have confirmation on that I was on the right path. And then the other thing that they told me was that we're going to put all of the right people and the right tools and the right things in your way to make you successful. So you don't have to worry. You can always trust us. And again, that was like, I needed to hear that. Thank you so much. And even though a lot of times I forget about that message and I don't fully trust in it, I do try to go back to it and remember that whenever I'm worried or freaked out, are we going to meet our goal for this launch? And am I going to be able to, be successful with all of this? And how am I going to accomplish this and get this done? And, just all the normal fears and worries and anxieties we have when we're going after our goals. And I really do try to remember that they told me of we'll put all the right teachers, mentors, coaches, therapists, lovers, friends, resources. We'll put it all in your path to help you to get to where you need to be next. And it's just it feels so good. So yeah, that was some of my experiences with the mushroom ceremony. And then recently, and I think I did a podcast episode about this last month when I first signed up for the peyote ceremony, talking a little bit about, it was called Morning Thoughts with Krista. And I talked about why I decided to sign up for this peyote ceremony. And I've been wanting to do ayahuasca, but ayahuasca just feels like a really big next step for some reason. And someone explained to me recently, one of my friends that did a peyote ceremony, and she's like, peyote is it's more gentle than ayahuasca. It's called, I think, the grandfather energy. And it's a good first step towards getting ready for ayahuasca. And it's very heartwarming and heart opening. And she was like, I really think you'll enjoy doing peyote first before you do ayahuasca. And so I was like, okay, sold, perfect. I want to do ayahuasca, but I wouldn't mind having something to get me ready for that intense experience. So let's see, what else? Oh, so then I had all these random people in my life starting to reach out to me, just friends and acquaintances. And they were just randomly sharing different plant medicine ceremonies with me. And I wasn't even asking people to share that stuff with me. I wasn't even telling people that I was interested in doing that. So I always, when that happens in my life, I always take that as a sign from the universe that, okay, it's time. It's time to pay attention. We're giving you the signs of this is the next thing to be doing in your life for the most success, the biggest healing, the most fulfillment. So the fact that all of a sudden it all started like popping up within the last couple months, I was like, okay, the universe is telling me it's time to do another ceremony. So that's why I'm here right now. And I always love escaping and getting out to the West Coast when I can. My Jupiter line goes through the West Coast, in particular California, hence why I always just feel so good when I'm out here. And if anybody is interested in astrocartography, my assistant, Mary, who's also my astrology coach, she and her business partner, Lacey, do astrocartography readings, and they will use your birth chart information to look at where does like your, I don't know if I'm going to explain this the right way, but like you have like certain energy lines that run throughout the world. And so there's going to be certain places where you really feel drawn to, and then there's going to be other places where you're like, I never want to go back there again. And so if you're trying to figure out like where to live or where to vacation, it's really useful to know your astrocartography, and it'll give you more insight as to like, okay, if you go to like this region, you're going to learn your hardest lessons. You're going to get lessons out of it, but it's going to be a really difficult place for you to be. Or this place is going to like bring you a lot of good fortune, and you're just going to feel really relaxed out here. Like it's just kind of cool, like knowing those things. And it's everything I've ever felt. And then when I looked at my results, it was like, it was true. It was accurate, spot on. So I really recommend doing an astrocartography session. They're fascinating. But so, yeah, I came in a day early to the retreat center. Alexander is the man who's hosting the retreat, and Uncle Ron is the Native American shaman that's coming out. He's flying out to facilitate the retreat as well, and to provide the peyote medicine, because in the United States, peyote is illegal outside of using it within Native American type of spiritual ceremonies. So that's why he has to be here to distribute the peyote. And everybody's going to be flying in today or driving in today for the retreat. And I came in the earliest because I wanted to like really be well rested. And, also turn this into like a little mini vacation as well. So I'm the first one here at the retreat center. And last night I got to spend some time with Alexander, and we were sitting outside by the fire, and I was just like picking his brain. He's done so many plant medicine ceremonies over the years, and I was asking him so many questions, and it was nice to like really have that time to just let my body rest and integrate. And I didn't have to like go right from flying to going into, a plant medicine ceremony. So I'm glad I did it this way. And I'm a little bit anxious. There's going to be 10 people who are coming, and I'm not, a lot of you know this about me, and I know this is true for a lot of coaches and empaths and introverts and highly sensitive people. I'm not like a big group person. My voice gets very like shut down when I'm in group settings, and I get really overwhelmed with all the like personalities and energies. But I do like seeking out communities like this. And from time to time, it is nice to get out of my house and be immersed into a community of like-minded people. And so even though I'm a little bit like, whew, okay, I got to get mentally prepared for like all this energy that's going to be happening and coming from this group of people I've never met before, I also know that it's really healing for my soul to be in these types of situations with like-minded individuals. Because sometimes living in St. Louis in the Midwest, I find, I know there's individuals like myself in St. Louis. I have met them from time to time, but I don't know. It's just different in the Midwest, and I've never really felt like I've completely fit in. But I also know that I'm meant to be there at this time in my life, and I'm meant to bring these teachings that I'm learning from traveling all over the world to bring them back to the St. Louis community and to help bring more, consciousness into the Midwest as well. And so I don't think it's necessarily like, I used to say this all the time, is like, there's just nobody like me in the Midwest. And that's not true. And I think it's such a beautiful gift that I travel all over the world. And then I'm like, I want to raise my vibration and I want to learn new ways of being. And then I want to bring it into my back home for my people and for my hometown. And it's kind of like that, I don't remember the name of the man, but the hero's journey. That's kind of what it feels like. It's like my own personal hero's journey, or for me, heroine journey. So, yeah. Let's see. What else can I say? We're going to be up all night. Apparently, I think the medicine stays in your system. Well, I mean, it stays in your system for like life, but it has like the biggest effects for 6 to 8 hours. So I think it's going to be prepared like in a tea. That's how I did the mushrooms. We drink it in a tea. Otherwise, it's very bitter to just take it directly in the form, in the original form. So I imagine that we'll all be like seated around in a circle on the ground, and there'll probably be drums and music and chants and prayers, and we'll drink the tea. And it usually takes, I know, about like 30 minutes to an hour to start to take effects. And I'm sure there'll be like people dancing and crying, and I'm going to bring my sleeping bag and my journal and just lay on the floor. I remember when I did the mushrooms, I wanted to be on the floor, and I was like curled up on the bathroom floor. And I remember thinking, all the answers are on the floor. Everything is on the floor. Or maybe I'll want to go outside and be in nature. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I mean, I guess I have a little bit of an idea of what to expect now doing, the mushrooms, but peyote is a new type of medicine. So I have a little bit of the fear of the unknown happening, which I think is normal and totally okay. And I've just been guided that you have to trust the medicine, and the medicine will show you what you need to see and what you need to hear. And I am a little bit scared if there might be any type of purging. Purging almost always happens with ayahuasca, which is really good. It's basically like throwing up or having diarrhea, and it's a way to release and let go of sickness in the body, energy that's no longer serving you, or any like negative, just toxic metals, or just anything in the body that needs to be released and let go to heal. Almost always happens with ayahuasca. And then they said it can happen with peyote. It's not super typical for that to happen, but I am just nervous if that would happen to me, to purge in front of a group of people that I just met. But again, I have to trust the medicine, and if something needs to be moved, it needs to be moved, and then it'll be fine, and I'll get through it, and I'll be okay. So I'm also a little nervous about that. And then we'll just sleep. We'll sleep, for majority of the day tomorrow, since we'll be up for most of the night tonight. And Alexander's going to the store today, and he's going to buy a lot of healthy food. And he said it has to be a lower salt diet for some reason. I don't know why, but he said he's going to be buying a bunch of natural organic foods that are lower in salt content that we'll be consuming this weekend. And this is definitely pushing me outside my comfort zone, but it's good. It's good for me. And I know that this will be one of those experiences that I will take with me for the rest of my life. And I hope that by going through this, that it will benefit me with being able to understand my emotions and do my emotions better and do deeper healing, so that way I can hold that space for my clients and students who work with me in the future. And then I have an upcoming retreat that I'm hosting. Some of you may have heard me talk about it. It's in Clearwater Beach, Florida. It's January 13th to the 15th. We do currently have 4 more spots open for that. And every time I go on a retreat, I take notes and I say, okay, this is something that I want to include for my future retreats that I lead. I like this, I don't like this. So I've already been taking some mental notes of things that I like and don't like for this retreat. And I think that makes me an even better retreat leader as well, and a retreat facilitator, by attending these retreats myself and really understanding what does it feel like to be a participant. So that way, when I lead my own retreats for life coaches, that I really can give them that ultimate life-changing experience. So I'm kind of I always do a little bit of market research as well every time I attend retreats. And yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to start to wrap this up. The sun is coming up. I want to get a little workout in before I do my spa experience today to just move some of the nervous energy through my body and be really ready for tonight. So thank you so much, everyone, for being on this journey with me. And I'll definitely be posting photos on Facebook and Instagram. And there was a time where I was really kind of like embarrassed and ashamed to talk about these plant medicine ceremonies. They can be a little bit of a controversial, taboo topic, but at the same time, and technically like they are illegal in the United States, but at the same time, I've been watching so many documentaries on Netflix now. Like I just watched one, Fantastic Fungi, on Netflix, and then there's another one, How to Change Your Mind. And more, shows and documentaries are popping up in the mainstream that are teaching us about these sacred plants and how they are starting to be incorporated into, holistic ceremonies and retreats and even therapy practices as well. More and more researchers and scientists are studying these plant medicine and saying there's something to this here. There's a reason that different cultures all over the world have been using these plants as a way to heal. And they're finding that these, and I'm not making this up, like you can watch this on the documentaries, that there's all these case studies now of these people that are engaging with plant medicine and then are healing their addictions, are healing their depression and overcoming different mental health conditions and physical ailments as well. And so it's being proven that this is the true medicine. Like the medicine and the therapies and the treatments that Western medicine is trying to provide for us is not working. And it's leaving us broke, and it's leaving us addicted, and it's leaving us chemically dependent on these substances. And they're finding that plant medicine is the true answer for healing and overcoming chronic illness and mental health conditions. Right, but at the same time, the FDA doesn't want to enforce something like that because it's not profitable, right? Like why enforce or promote one ayahuasca ceremony that you can do that could heal you for the rest of your life when they can promote medicine that they can make money off that you have to be on for the rest of your life to get you through whatever you're going through, right? I mean, you can see like from a business perspective and a money perspective, it makes more sense to promote and push the thing that's going to keep people dependent on your therapy or your treatment, your medicine that's going to make you money, and not the thing that's going to really do the healing that you only need maybe once or a couple times that you can't make a profit off of. So yeah, I think that says everything alone right there. So the whole point of why I was bringing this up is I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed anymore to publicly talk about, going through these ceremonies and that I believe in the plants. The plants, they're Mother Nature. I don't look at, when I was a hardcore, strict Lutheran and Christian back in the day, and, I was taught drugs are bad. And yes, there are definitely some forms of drugs that are definitely very toxic and are not healing. But this is so different. This is coming directly from Mother Nature. And Mother Nature was created from God, from the divine. So, that is direct medicine and healing from the source. So why wouldn't I want to partake in something like that? Okay. Thank you again for being on this journey with me, for listening to these podcast episodes. Recording these podcast episodes has been so healing for me to speak up and use my voice and express what I'm going through every day as a coach, a business owner, a mother, just a spiritual human being trying to thrive in this hard, difficult world. So thank you for taking the time to listen. I appreciate you. I love you wherever you're listening from in the world. And I will definitely create another episode that talks about all of my experiences after I go through the ceremony. So have a great rest of your day.